Welcome to Growth and Inspire, where we examine topics that makes us feel inspired and grow. I'm your host, Bonnie Yam, and we will be posting frequently on topics to help you run your business better. It can be issues involving new regulations, taxes, planning for business growth, or how to run your business more efficiently. Whether you're a CEO, CFO, or any C-suite members, this podcast is for you. We hope to bring you insights and discussion points, drill down on complexity to make it simple. Join us on this journey as we will have a lot of interesting guests, such as business evaluators, insurance experts, finance, CPAs, and don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review if you enjoy what you hear. Now, let's get started with today's episode. Today, our topic is BOI, Beneficial Ownership Information Reporting. And with us today is Andrea Parnas, CPA. Hello, Andrea. So happy to have you on our podcast.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi.
So happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes. All right. So before we start, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your company?
Sure. So I just want to mention that Bonnie and I met after I presented at a seminar on this exact topic, and I was presenting to a semi-diverse group, and there were CPAs, there were enrolled agents, many of them that were business owners themselves, and some bankers, investment advisors, and so forth. And people came up to me afterwards and said, my clients don't know about this, and I'm concerned. So I think it's really great, Bonnie, that you're reaching out to, the general business community, because I actually listened to it was the congressional session back in February where they discussed, all the business owners know about this, don't worry. And we're sitting there going, no, they don't. No, they don't. And so we're really concerned. So my background is I'm a CPA. I've been in practice over 25 years. I'm also a certified tax coach, and we could talk about that maybe some other time. But one of the things that I like to say is we don't just put numbers in boxes. We help our clients but use the tax code to their advantage. And so when we do eventually put those numbers in the box, they are carefully worked out. And it's the same with BOI. So it's kind of interesting when we talk about BOI, it's absolutely something that is required for many business entities. And we use that term business entities because it's not the business owner, it's the entity itself that is required to report, and it's called beneficial BOI, Beneficial Ownership Information Reporting, right? We're so used to saying BOI that we forget the words. And it was enacted by Congress in January of 2021. And you're saying, well, wait a second, we're in 24. What happened? And so a lot of my professional organizations, other CPAs and so forth, have gone to bat for the business community and said, hey, we need more time, we need more time. And I believe there's supposed to be like 5 million reporting entities, and so far they've gotten 500,000 reports. So obviously there's like some gap between like who's supposed to be reporting and are they reporting, and if not, why not, and if so, why, right? Wonderful. So that would be my concern.
So, Andrea, who must report?
Who has to report? So we start at the most basic. An entity is required to report if their entity was formed and reported to the Secretary of State of a state. So like New York. New York has their own also reporting that's going to be due in 26. But for now, it's the entire country. Anybody who has a business entity that was established by, putting in their paperwork to the Secretary of State. So if you didn't work with an attorney or your accountant and you did it yourself, via LegalZoom or whoever, they didn't do this for you unless you asked them to help. And you remember, you created an entity. It's like creating a kid. Like that kid, it's a newborn, it doesn't know what to do, right? It needs a social security number. Your entity may or may not need a social security number. If you report it to the Secretary of State, you may be an LLC, a C Corp, an S Corp, a partnership, etc. So that's the bottom line, reported to the Secretary of State. Now I have people asking, well, I have a single member LLC. Well, did you have an LLC? You reported it to the state. Oh,
Right.
I have a sole proprietorship. I'm a DBA, Joe Blow, doing business as whoever. And okay, so that you had to go to the county clerk to get your DBA. Is the county clerk the Secretary of State? Hello?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
they are not. So that does not cause a reporting requirement. Secretary of State, bottom line. So
So if I file a Schedule C, I mean, like using my own Social Security, it's not a business entity. Therefore, I don't need.
not necessarily.
All right.
Okay, so that's a great point. So Bonnie, you file a Schedule C. My question for you is, are you a single member LLC?
I know you're gonna ask me.
What are you?
Right. Depends. So yes, depends. Yeah.
Yes. So in order to get that, did you have to file with the Secretary of State?
That's right. That's the key question, everyone.
Yes. So very good. So in this scenario, Bonnie, yes, you would have to, your entity would
My
have
LLC,
to
because I
report.
Yeah.
And your entity is like, it's a fictitious, it's like an entity, it's not a person. So it probably needs someone to help it report. Right?
So like we figure it out. Do you or do you not? Okay, need to file. Okay, that's number one
Right.
question.
Bonnie, can I just mention that there are 23 exceptions to the rule? Okay, of course. What? Really? Of course there are.
What do you
We
expect?
actually, when we presented, you might remember one of the slides we showed
Yes.
was the like if yes, if no, if yes,
how
that
big
whole
you
thing.
are. Yes.
So chances are that 99% of the businesses have to report and they're not exempt. In general, if you report to the SEC, like you're a publicly owned company and you're already reporting to the SEC, you're most probably exempt. Most small business owners certainly would. There's specific requirements. We're not going to get crazy with it. In general, you could be exempt if you had over 20 employees, full-time employees. And that doesn't mean I have 5 entities and altogether I have 20 employees, 25 employees. No, each entity, okay? And in some cases, you have to go deeper. But most issues, most entities are pretty simple, reporting requirements. But there are, of course, always exceptions where it's more involved, and we're not going to go into that now. But I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I remember you said nonprofit too. Those are exempted.
Yes, if they're required to report to, it's like when you do a bank reconciliation, you're checking with a third party to make sure your checks went through. So that is an independent agency. So when you think about the SEC, they're an independent agency. So if you're reporting to them and you have certain gross receipts, US receipts in excess of a certain amount over the last years, we're not going to get into the weeds. We could spend hours, right? Our 1 hour and 50-minute seminars usually go 2.5 hours. And that's with some of the weeds, not all of them. So.
All right, so we'll save the questions. If you have questions, we'll come back to you. First of all, okay, we probably most likely need to report. You need to know, right? All right, let's keep on going. What's the information to be reported, Andrea?
Okay. So remember when I was saying, we do a tax return. Oh, it's so simple. It's one piece of paper. You just put the numbers in.
You wish, right?
Yeah. So the information that is so simple is the beneficial owner. Okay, so that person that's a living, breathing person. That beneficial owner has to be identified. And once they are identified, or multiple people are identified. So one woman asked us, which I thought that was so cute. She said, I tell my son's in business. He has a single member LLC. So he's obviously the beneficial owner. We said, yes. She says, but I'm his CPA. And I tell him what to do, and he listens to everything. I said, do you remember that from the seminar? I thought that was so cute. I said, well, I have daughters. So I'm glad that your son listens to you. My daughters
Don't remember.
not necessarily. So that was good. So she could be. So somebody who is not the business owner, but they are a board of director, they are the CEO, CFO, COO, all those C's. Somebody else who is making decisions could be considered a beneficial owner. And that again is a bit more complex, just to let you know that it may not be just you who is helping your entity report. Okay, so there could be more. And the information is very simple. As long as you've identified who has to give in their information, it's simple. Name, address, tax ID number, and either a passport or a state issued license. So some identifier, right? So in New York State, our licenses are good for like, I don't know, 5 years. And we always, when we renew, we keep the same identification number. So just because we renewed, the number didn't change. That's perfect. Everybody, we love New York, right? Even though we have a lot of tax. Now, if your passport expires or you need to get a new one, you may be issued a new passport identification number. That is something that will have to be reported. So we're going to talk about, okay, I've done my report, my first report, but oh my God, we're moving. I lost my whatever, it drowned in the ocean when I went swimming. I don't have this anymore. I need a new document. What do I do then? So once you're submitted the report, which, and we'll talk about due dates, you are required to update any information that changes about your beneficial owner. You could have additional beneficial owners. Your beneficial owner could have, we had Hurricane Sandy. My passport sat in a plastic bag. It was so moldy, it was disgusting. Finally, I threw it out, or I shredded it or whatever. So I needed a new one with a new ID number. So I would have to report that.
Yeah, makes sense.
The first reporting year is 2024. And there were 500 companies that rushed to do this because they want to be really good about it. If their information changed after their initial reporting, they had in 2024, after initial reporting, 30 days to update that information. If they hadn't,
30 days.
Only 30 days, exactly. And there are consequences, right? Right? Report or consequences. That's like the deal.
Taxes, oh, sorry, you miss it by 1 day, miss it by 1 day.
You miss it by a day. What do we do now? Like, are there any get out of jail free cards? And don't we say like get out of jail free card, because isn't that a possibility, right? Do you remember we talked about that? If your entity is required to report and the beneficial owner doesn't report because and they don't report, not because by accident, but because they willfully disregarded the law, and try to prove that to the judge who's saying take them away and put them away for life, right? So there are civil penalties and criminal penalties, and of course a lot of lost sleep and like agita and heartburn, right?
Yeah, just do it.
So the civil penalties are almost $600 a day, and with a maximum of $11,820 per violation.
Okay. 11,000, how much?
$11,820 per violation. So if you have 5 entities, that's like over $100,000, over 50,000.
50,000, yeah.
Right.
Maximum 11,000
per violation. Plus, they could send you to jail. And I worked with a lawyer, and I said to him, is that the kind of jail that like we have to learn how to play golf and they feed us good food and we get to go out and like work on our tans? And he's like, no, it's the kind where they feed you terrible food, you don't exercise, and like
Busy body, and you completely
it's like ugh, like you don't want to be sent to jail over
I
this.
see.
So that's really the concept. It's like truth or consequences. The consequences could be really, really bad.
I remember
Right?
you said each day $591.
Each day,
Each day.
five hundred
That's a lot of
ninety-one
money.
dollars per day, up to $11,820 per violation.
So why you even
And
miss one day? It's a lot of money.
you miss one day, why? Why did you miss
Exactly.
the day?
So if you have all the information, get it done so you can go to bed and you don't have to worry about this and move on.
Unless, what happens if you're moving in a month,
Your 30 days.
right? Then maybe you want to get ready to do this.
Uh-huh.
And then wait till you move and you settle in.
Yeah.
You have until January 1st, right? We didn't even talk about when do you have till January 1st, 2025. Oh, okay, I don't care. No, you have to care because as a tax professional, I can tell you we e-file, and you know what it's like. Anybody here drive on like
I
the
know.
belt parking lot, right?
Don't do that.
Yep. You wait and there's a funnel, a huge funnel, and
If you have a
yeah,
mistake, you forgot something, you can't find something, you're dead.
what if you make a mistake?
Yes.
What if the internet goes off? What if you lose power?
Just don't wait.
What if, right? So you really want to address this sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And you can certainly contact your lawyer, your CPA, your business advisor, your investment advisor. We're actually doing a couple of these in-person seminars a little bit later in the year. I think I'm doing 3 or 4 more for law firms, CPA firms, and maybe, we usually invite the IRS into some of these seminars because it's just very beneficial, but also to investment advisors because they tend to speak with their clients quite often. Right. So Bonnie, what happens if I have like all my real estate? I have different, like I've all this great
LLC, do it each time, right?
Right. So hopefully it's not New York City and your tenants, or if it is, your tenants are paying you, right? And you don't have the marshal breathing down their neck. But let's say your entity of selection for your real property is an LLC. And Bonnie, we're going to be really good investors. We're going to have 10 pieces of property, right? Each one in a separate LLC.
Yes.
And some of them I might have with my sister, you might have with your brother, you and I might do 1 or 2 together, right? So each of those entities may have more than one beneficial owner, right? And we might actually say, you know what? Let's hire a managing agent and give them certain power, right? Certain power to make specific.
Yes, they might be BOI too, and you might report them as well. So another level of complexity.
Right. So I'm thinking, oh man, I have so many of these reports to file. And what if I move? Like, what if I wash, my license, or I destroy my license, or I have to get a new one? What if my identity or my address or whatever information I've reported changes? I have to go back and remember that I have to go back to each one of these and and I have to do it within 30 days. Like, I don't have anything better to do, right? Like, okay, today it's raining, but what if it's nice out? I want to be out doing something fun. So there is an option to get an identity PIN, and you get that same place as you would be doing the reporting with the with FinCEN. And that way you change it on one document, and whatever that document is linked to will be updated as well. So it was kind of interesting because when I listened to the congressional hearing, one of the guys, and I said, why doesn't he run for something local, right? Over here, like New York, he was from the Midwest. And he was smart. He said, I have 7 entities, and what am I going to do? And like somebody should have told him, hey, you can get one ID number, and then it's not so onerous, right? But But he was thinking, I gotta do 7 reports and I gotta do this and that. And then what if something changes? So, you know, what's interesting, I don't know how many people who are listening started a new business in 2024. Anybody?
I'm pretty
So
sure. Yes, yeah.
your requirements are slightly different. So if you started your business in 2024 and 2024 only, you have 90 days. And that was one of these like adjustments or updates that they did for us. You have 90 days to file your initial report. 90 days.
Do you think they actually know?
It's what?
Do you think they actually know, new business owners? Anybody tell them when they like register for their like LLC or whatever? Is there a little footnote? Please do remember to click here and file your BOI within 90 days. Do you think that
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I do know somebody contacted us for a consultation. They're starting a business. And the first thing I said, like, we're not in a rush. You know, he's still thinking about it. I said, there is one concern I have, and that is about this. And he said, I said, send me your Secretary of State filing document. I think I have it on my desk somewhere.
So they
do.
So you
I do. I have it on my desk. And he filed in November of 2023. So he has time.
224. Okay, good.
However, looks to me like maybe he didn't file his 2023 tax return yet. So he could have other issues, but at least he doesn't have this issue.
Yeah, BOI is not something else. Yeah.
So kind of crazy.
So this is interesting, okay? So any business owners, you got to remember, okay, what Andrea said, there's a deadline, okay? And there's a penalty issue too, and you need to know who to file. And there's a simple way, which is a FinCEN, F-I-N-C-E-N, FinCEN. So you just change it at one location that will change all, like if you have 10, whatever, LLCs, it will all get adjusted when you move it on it, so you don't have to worry about it. And let me just kind of summarize it. You have 60 days. Is it 60 days if you move? Or 30 days, 30 days. 30 days.
So if you've already filed in 2024, you have 30 days.
30 days. 30 days.
Whatever, 30 days.
If it's 224, you just start a new business, 90 days. Yeah.
90 days. Okay. And next year, everybody 30 days. Done. Any changes, any new businesses, 30 days.
So for this year, the requirement is by the end of 2024, December 31st. If everybody by the end of
January 1st, yeah.
Yeah, if I started my business prior year, not 2024, another year, okay, prior, then it's by the end of, this is very important. So 2024, you have to get it filed. Don't wait.
Correct.
Very last day. If you start your business in 2024, then you have what? 3 months.
90 days.
3 months.
If you started it in 2024, 90 days.
Yeah, that's very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the complexity, you know, we know there's a lot of complexity. So if you don't know, right?
You don't know. So what I recommend is if you're doing this on your own, I never recommend that people, you making an investment in your time and yourself. I don't like to see people doing things themselves when I feel that there should be a professional guiding them for all decisions, entity selection, tax consequences, things like that. I always recommend that they work with a legal, accounting, financial, advisor, because if you save $500, $1,000, $25,000, $5,000, and you could cost yourself thousands of dollars doing something.
1 day is 591.
One day just of this is $591. Just and possible if you wait too long, jail time. They have not come up with any like, oops, I didn't know. Too bad. Like,
yeah. I mean, you're probably very busy, and then even if you invest the time, you might not get it right, and there are a lot of consequences. Might as well give it to a professional, get it done properly, get it done right. If you have any questions, ask them. Get it up, get it done.
Right. That's what professionals were invented for, right? To tell you, you know what? I had somebody who wants to consult with me. He said, "Oh, I called somebody and they told me I should do this." And I said, "Okay, well, why are you calling me?" Well, I don't know that I trust that information. I said, okay, well, this is what our consult fee is and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And he said, well, that guy did it for free.
Oh, go ahead.
I said, okay, well, if you like his advice, go follow it.
Right. Yeah.
I personally knew that I didn't agree with his advice, but I said, okay, fine.
In this world, come on, wake up, right?
It's not smart. What is that saying? Penny wise and pound foolish. It's, this is your business. You have started with a good, proper foundation.
Yeah, work with a
right?
team of experts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And make a business plan, like a proper,
Because like one small
website.
mistake can really cost you a lot. I'm not talking about time. I mean, opportunities, penalties, and you get very upset about the whole thing. So, I mean, work with smart people, you learn from them. So pay them, right? Why not?
Right,
That's
right.
how you grow.
Also, it's dedeductible. Hello.
Oh, yes,
Like
it's
startup
deductible.
costs.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Wonderful,
deductible.
wonderful.
So, and I guess your mistakes are deductible too, but that comes directly out of your pocket and you don't have control. So
Well, thank
Yeah.
you very much. Do you have anything else to add?
I think we talked about a lot of stuff. So
Good.
just everybody, good luck. Remember, you can look it up. Look, I could tell you one of my friends, good friend of mine, she's a PhD. She did it herself.
Huh?
She's brilliant. Like we used to study calculus in college, right? Together. She always got an A plus. I got an A, and like I knew just as much as her. She's just brilliant. She said, I'm gonna go and try it myself. Perfect, great,
Go
do
ahead
it
and share
yourself.
with
She
somebody.
did, but there was not really a question about who the beneficial owners were of her corporation and her LLC. So she was
There's
fine.
a lot of fuzzy points, so it's best to consult with an expert. So
Yeah.
they may not know, but why not? Okay, so
Right.
That's a thing.
Right.
And I want to thank Andrea again.
Very welcome.
Enjoy
fun.
enjoy the show, and please leave us a review. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and improve our content. And don't forget to follow us on the social media platforms. If you have any questions, comments, topic suggestions, please feel free to reach out to us. We love hearing from our listeners. And join us on our next podcast. It's going to be on bookkeeping for business owners. It's something all business owners need to deal with. The question is, how can we get what we want and make it simple? Until next time, stay inspired.
Thank you, Bonnie. This is great. And I think it's wonderful what you're doing for the business community.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.